Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Gafford and Brown Show. I'm Lamar Gafford.
And I'm Robert Brown.
And we got another show right here. We're actually going to do our show once again during this game right now. Kick off of game 2. Miami Heat, Indiana Pacers. Miami up 1-0. First of all, just want to really go ahead and say this. What did you think about game 1 the other night?
Game 1 was pretty much everything you could ask for as far as the opening game of the Eastern Conference Finals. You had overtime, you had high-scoring game, you had last-minute heroics, game-winning shots, game-winning drives. Just an overall good game. Now, there's been a lot of controversy about that game due to Frank Vogel's decision to sit out Roy Hibbert the last play, Paul George's defense. What's the most interesting story you could take from game 1?
I really have to say that the Pacers, they showed a lot of hardness in this game. We already knew that they were going to come out there. They were not going to be scared of the Miami Heat because we already saw what happened last year. I mean, they went ahead, they took a 2-1 lead in the semifinals until Miami went ahead, won that series, and then ultimately won the championship. But right here, I mean, we already know Indiana's not scared of them. Now, the one thing I can take away from that and was just that last play. Like we said about Vogel's play calling right there. Having Roy Hibbert to be on the bench, not just on the second to last possession, but the last possession to ultimately to decide the game, it's kind of was baffling to me. I mean, personally, I don't think I would have made that decision. Would you have?
I wouldn't have, but understood why he made the decision.
Mm-hmm.
Hibbert had trouble defending Chris Bosh on the perimeter. I mean, if Bosh was in the game, maybe the play would have been different. Maybe you never know. So I respect the decision, but I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, and I think it was pretty much the same here. Like, I kind of wrestled around with it, and I think I could understand the first. I could understand the next to last one. I think that was with 14-something seconds left to go in the game.
Yeah.
Am I right? Yeah, and I could understand if you wanted to keep him out on that one right there. I possibly can understand that because even though LeBron did get kind of into the lane. Untouched and all that. I can understand it because you never know what they're going to throw out there at him. Like you said, Bosh could be out there. Bosh could be out there because we all know what Bosh can do as far as the mid-range game, and also he can knock down an occasional three-pointer if need be. But I think in the last possession, even if 5 fouls or even if not, I mean, I think he should have still been out there no matter what in that situation. I mean, who knows? He could have possibly tried to block LeBron's shot like he did Carmelo.
True, but you never know. Maybe the play call could have changed. Maybe it would have been a pass to Bosh. I mean, you never know. So Frank Vogel was a young coach. Maybe it was a situation where he was overthinking. Got caught up in trying to make the ultimate chess move with Spoelstra,
mm-hmm.
And he just got caught with his pants down. But I'm pretty sure he's going to look at that, and he's going to take stride in there. He made a mistake. Some people think, and you live with your decisions, and it wasn't game 7.
Right.
It didn't cost them the series. It was one game. It was a very competitive game, a game that they had every chance to win, and that game, and should have gotten to that play.
Mm-hmm.
There were plenty of plays before that where they could have done things to not even, make it that position.
Exactly, and I think one of those plays that we could just really take of this was when Paul George threw it kind of like I don't know where was he throwing it to, but if he actually throws the ball to somebody right there, who knows? They make the shot. I think this was This was before overtime. This was the fourth quarter. They make the shot. Who knows what could happen? Indiana could probably stole game one. You could be seeing them pretty much up 1-0 with possibly a chance to make it either 2-0 or go at least back to Indiana 1-1. And that would have been a perfect situation for them.
Right. But, as we see right now, we're in for another competitive game. It's Indiana 8, Miami 9 right now in the first quarter. And, we're looking for probably another intense game. And, win or lose, this game still shifts to Indiana, at the end. So I think Indiana's in a good. They know they can beat Miami.
Yes.
They know they can beat Miami. They know that they gave their last game away, in their mind. So I think if anything, they have more reason to prove that they belong with Miami.
Oh, definitely, and definitely. And you could just see it right now. They basically coming out firing. I mean, as we can see. They're not scared of them. And they possibly also realize here that no matter how much the effort was and all that stuff too, they still put up a very good game. You had David West scoring 26 points and all that. Paul George makes an unbelievable three just to tie up the game, send it to OT, and then also makes 3 big free throws in overtime that could have possibly won the game. Now let's shift it also to the to the Heat's focus here too, and it's just LeBron James. He continues to amaze everybody, and he just makes everything look with so much ease. In Game 1, he had 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists. Another triple-double, and it's just like he continues to do these things with just so much ease that you don't even think about it like, wow, he has a triple-double.
Right. And it's just the ultimate stat line from today's best player. And that game pretty much cemented why he's this year's MVP. With no doubt, there's no reason why you can't say LeBron deserved the MVP after seeing the game one. He just put the team on his back, and a stellar game from Dwayne Wade as well, who's still battling through injury and, got a little foul trouble, but another great game from him.
Mm-hmm. And definitely, and also let's also give Bosh's too. Another pretty good game for him too. So all three of them, they played a very good game out there, and that's what they need to do. And the other important thing too is you got the Heat. They have themselves, very good role players and stuff like that. Chalmers can sometimes get you 10 points, like he did in the game 1, but also another impressive one was Birdman.
Yeah, Chris Anderson, Birdman. I'm not gonna say the rest. Definitely played a great game. He's the X factor. Last year I guess you could say Haslam, was kind of the X factor. Mario stepped up, but this year it seems to be Chris Anderson and Ray Allen being those glue guys that Miami needs to get over that hump again. And you just have to be happy for Chris Anderson. A guy who has gone through so much, in his career. From the drug addictions to the team, thing. He's battled through a lot. So to see him on this big stage doing so well, it's great to see. It's a great story.
Absolutely, and you just got to root for guys like that. Once again, it's just so many players that you really want to see get a ring. That hey, this might be his best. This is possibly going to be his best chance. And like I said, 7 for 7. He didn't miss a shot He didn't miss a shot on Wednesday, and that's just like amazing right there in his own right. And he's been pretty much a decent defender whenever they need him to, getting blocks sometimes here and there, rebounds and all that.
Yeah,
just energy.
Just an all-around good player, and I'm interested to see what's going to happen, later on in the series with him and Tyler Hansbrough, meet up a little more. Kenny Smith had that funny joke about the bit going on with him and Charles about how they're going to get into it. So I'm interested to see how that dynamic's going to play out. But yeah, you're right. He's definitely bringing everything out of the toolbox. The energy, the rebounds, the blocks, just all around answer to Miami's front court problems. And he's definitely a guy that's probably gonna be back there next year if he continues his performance.
Mm-hmm. Definitely so, and it's just, and I got a feeling. And funny that you do mention the fight. I mean, physical play and all that. I got a feeling there's gonna be a fight in this series, though.
It's gonna get testy. Yeah. Last year was a good sign of how testy it can get.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're definitely gonna see things get heated a bit.
Right. So the other thing here, I think we had mentioned this a little bit too. I think during the game, while we was watching the game and stuff, if you're Danny Granger, what's going to be their decision pretty much?
He's getting traded. I mean, I can't see why you bring back a guy that you've made it further than you've made it without him. You know, I just can't see them bringing him back for any real purpose. He's due $14 million next year.
Yeah.
You got a lot of glue guys. You got Paul George, the star. I just think it's time to part ways now. I mean, what they need, what we're really seeing something that they could use is a good point guard or another scorer. I wouldn't be shocked if they dealt him to New Orleans for possibly Eric Gordon. I mean, or maybe Charlotte, maybe get Kemba Walker. You know, they can make some moves there. So I'm interested to see how they're gonna do this whole Danny Granger thing. What are your thoughts about it?
I mean, I got a feeling it possibly could be the same situation right here. I mean, you look at it like this. This scenario is it's kind of similar to maybe the ideas here of what they're going to do with what Memphis did with Rudy Gay. Like the season before, I think it was in 2010, 2011 that those playoffs that time. They made it to the playoffs, and they made it all the way to Game 7 of the West semis without Rudy Gay. They had him last year, and then they just get bounced out of the first round. So it's just gonna be one of those. It could possibly be one of those things. He might get moved, and especially with the new CBA, what that language is all about too. He might be the casualty of the whole thing, and they might just build around, Hibbert and Paul George because, oh my God, crazy.
I didn't even. It didn't even register to me that he had a suit jacket on.
But yeah, definitely, it's just one of those things right there. It's just one of those things right there. Now shifting our focus pretty much to the West, San Antonio is now up 2-0 against the Memphis Grizzlies. And it seems like for the first 2 games of this series, Game 1, the Spurs came out, they were blowing out the Grizzlies. But in Game 2, the Spurs were kind of blowing them out, but then Memphis started coming back. Do you think Memphis, with the game shifting to Memphis, do you think Memphis is going to possibly try to even it up or something?
I think Memphis takes the next game. I can't see Memphis going down 3-0. Now, granted, the Spurs are good enough to do it, but I just think Memphis has too much pride. In that last game, we saw them come back, from an 18-point deficit, send it to overtime. So I think Memphis gets it together, and I think they take that next game. Now, what happens after that, I'm not sure. I need to see the next game tomorrow night, but I'm thinking that Memphis takes that one game. I mean, Zach Randolph, coming off that 2-point game, that 2-point loss, the game where he had 2 points, he has kind of something to prove now, and I'm sure when he gets back to Memphis in front of that home crowd that he's going to want to put on a better performance than the past 2 games. What do you think, Mark?
And same here, because it just was an atrocious game that he had in Game 1. And it's just he basically apologized for the whole thing for not playing like we seen him capable of playing. It seemed like though in game 2, Memphis went back to their style of basketball, and unfortunately they did not win. But they went back to their style. They went inside. Zach Randolph and Marc Gasol both had double doubles. So that shows to be right there. They were ready. They're kind of getting right back to where it is. I think as somebody always said, I think Woody Page said it best. A series doesn't really begin until the home team loses. So, I mean, who knows what can happen with Memphis? They could possibly try to win. I think they're gonna win Game 6. I mean, not Game 6, Game 3.
Wow, Indiana running away with this right now in the first quarter. It's 22-12, I believe. Indiana with not that much time left in the first, but yeah, I'm thinking the same thing in terms of the next game being interesting and seeing Memphis's grit and seeing if they can bounce back, because this is a team with a lot of character.
Definitely, and this is you just have a lot of defenders. They're gonna make it a little bit tough for them and all that, and especially with players like Tony Allen coming and Mike Conley, Jared Bayless coming off the bench, Vincent Pondexter coming off the bench as well, giving you a little bit too. That's just one of those things right there what the Grizzlies are doing. On the other hand, though, the Spurs, it seems like they're right there. They're the reliable team that continues to be, pretty much right there at the end of the day.
Right. But, I mean, right now, though, obviously the more exciting series is definitely on the Eastern Conference side with Miami and Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
That first game being a blowout, and the second game starting off like a blowout, but then getting very intense in the end. But I got to say right now, which team do you think has the better chance to come back and actually probably beat the other team?
If there is, I'd say it's probably going to be Indiana. Even though I did say the Heat are probably going to win it in 6, I think Indiana could possibly try to make it a little bit, could try to make that prediction and stretch out the series a little bit more. I still think the Grizzlies might have it in 6, but I'm kind of hesitant right now going with that prediction because they're going to have to try to come back from 0-2 again this season in the playoffs once again. And not saying it hasn't been done against the Spurs, but I think asking for them to do that is probably going to be a little bit too much to ask for.
It is definitely a tall order, but I would still have to say Memphis. I just think Indiana, they're there. We've seen that they can hang with Miami, they can bang with Miami. But at the end of the day, I still think Miami has their number, like we saw the other night. And I think it'll be another series that'll go like last year in 6 games. But I still think Memphis can beat San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, granted, the first game was no indication of that. But the other game where they came back from their deficit and showed a lot of heart, I think it can happen still. I think if it gets 2-2, things become real interesting. I think the pressure then goes back on San Antonio, and can they finish and can they get back to the finals? This is a San Antonio team that hasn't been in the finals since 2007, and they've come close. We know they've come close, but I mean another season where you get your back against the wall. I mean, like they did last year with Oklahoma City. So
and that's just crazy too. I mean, you just don't think about it here. You always see the Spurs in the playoffs, but them having not made it to the finals in like how long? 6 seasons?
It's been a while. It's funny. I mean, they're like the Patriots of the NBA. I mean, they're still an elite franchise.
Right.
They go to the postseason, but they've yet to win a title in so long. And they have those same pedigree of players. New England has Brady.
Mm-hmm.
San Antonio has Duncan. Popovich isn't going anywhere. Bill Belichick isn't going anywhere. They make smart moves. They have glue guys. They don't compromise their team values for a star. They're like the identical franchise to me right now, at least.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, and it's just one of those things that just make you hate them. But then again, you just have to continue to be, enthralled by them.
Yeah, because they're built from the ground up. You respect both organizations because of their approach to the game and their approach to getting players and their systems.
Mm-hmm. So once again, and now shifting the focus basically to outside the playoffs, and we're actually going to have the special guest tonight, Sean K. Benton, as well. We're going to talk to him about the similar things here. But and also you can basically chime in on here. Hit us up on Skype, Primetime2832, if you want to get on the show or leave a comment on the comment box. But here we go once again. I guess seems like we have another Dwight Mirror on our hands, and it looks like right now he's pretty much Dwight Howard is actually he's finally giving out his list of teams that he really wants to be on. He says that of course the Lakers are going to be in the mix. We said Atlanta, we said Dallas, we said Houston. Of course, all three of them are going to be on there too. But he also added one surprise team on there. You want to go ahead and guess?
Your Dallas Mavericks.
I already said.
Oh. Miami.
No.
Go ahead and surprise me.
Golden State.
That's cheap. That's very cheap. I would hate to see them make that move actually, but yeah, he wants to join Golden State now. Of course, winning games, but honestly, you don't pass $30 million though. That's my idea, and that's what I think his thought process should be. But Houston's been after him Houston's been after a true big man for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And Sheik is good and all, but Dwight Howard's very good and he sells tickets. So I'm sure they still want him. So I don't know what's going on.
And they're really pushing for him. They really want him. There's also been photoshops basically of him in the Rockets jersey and all that. Of course, you got Atlanta. They really want to try to go ahead and try to get him because they've been pushing for him as well. Dallas, maybe not so much. I think focus a little bit more on CP3. But it just would be crazy here if he does decide to go to Golden State because honestly, I don't think they're too much of a player. I think they would be I would pretty much put them as fifth on the list because they have a very good core. But if they turn out here, and I looked at them here, that they have a lot of players that could possibly opt out. Carl Landry, I think Richard Jefferson could opt out. A lot of different players. Bogut, I think. There's some other guy, and Beardry. So I think they could all opt out. And if they could possibly try to make a run for Dwight, I'm not saying it's going to happen. I mean, that would be a scary team, now would it?
Yeah, but I just hate the idea of him going there and being a cancer. They have such a good thing right now.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't need Dwight Howard, if you ask me. I mean, David Lee wasn't healthy. Andrew Bogut's still not 100%, if you ask me. I think Steph Curry's ankles are still bad. They don't need Dwight Howard. And Dwight Howard, Golden State wasn't on his list of teams prior to them having this success. He's what bandwagon fan. He's being a bandwagon guy. I want to go to Golden State. I want to stay on the West Coast. They're good. Let me go to Golden State. No. If that move to Golden State happens, I want to watch no Golden State games until the playoffs. I love Steph Curry, love Mark Jackson, but I don't want to see them play until they make the playoffs. If they get Dwight Howard.
And that's just that would be crazy because too, it's just like you said, their style of basketball.
If I'm Golden State, I do not entertain that drama, that headache.
I wouldn't either because like you said, you already got a good nucleus. You already got the Splash Brothers and Klay Thompson. You also got Yeah, and you got Steph Curry, who can basically, they both can score at will and shoot at will and make at will as well. I mean, to me, they really don't need a center to do what they got to do. David Lee, like you said, he's a double-double guy. The guy's an all-star. The guy's a very good player and a pretty underrated player, if you might say so yourself.
And under the radar. You'll never hear a Sports Center highlight of David Lee refuses to sign his contract because he wants to go to Brooklyn. Or David Lee says that Mark Jackson doesn't know what he's doing. Or David Lee doesn't want to be in Golden State anymore. No, you won't hear those type of things. Because David Lee's a role player / all-star who knows his role, is happy with his role, and, he's doing things to get better. Dwight Howard, for all sakes and purposes, is a great player, great asset to a team. He's a franchise builder. But right now, after what you just saw in LA, what you saw in Orlando, do you really want that headache on your team? Do you really want a guy that seems fickle almost in every decision he makes concerning basketball? Do you want that headache? Do you want a guy that calls out his coaches? We saw the issue with Stan Van Gundy. We saw the issue with Mike D'Antoni. Do you want to bring that on a young coach like Mark Jackson's player?
No.
I would hate to see that move go through and then like I said, you didn't see Dwight Howard adding Golden State on his list of teams prior to this season. He wasn't trying to go to Golden State.
Right. Because I can remember when Golden State tried to trade him, they tried to trade for him, actually, when, he was trying to make a decision. Oh, I want to stay in Orlando. I want to go somewhere else. I want to stay in Orlando. They actually tried to put in a package, and I forgot what the package was.
Probably Monte.
I think, Monte. Monte was part of that package. I can't remember who else was. I think Bogut might have. No, of course, Bogut was in Milwaukee at the time. My bad. But, they tried to put in the package, and I think he said he didn't want to go there. And now, 12 months later, to make this good playoff run, might change of heart.
Yeah, and that's not the type of guy you want to add to your young, budding franchise that has a superstar and Steph Curry and a young coach and Mark Jackson. That's not the type of headache you want to add to that chemistry right now. You don't want that. And I don't see the point in doing that.
It would have been possibly fun if he probably found some type of way. Like, let's just say you did, like, he always wanted to be on the same team with Darren Williams, and it would have been possibly crazy if you would have probably put them on the same team, and then yet you also have Jerry Sloan and Stan Van Gundy back at them and just coaching them up and all that stuff for karma purposes. That would have been funny. That just would have been funny. I would have just been like the practice court. It would have just been like, really?
Yeah. So I just don't want to see that at all. I think it's unfair to Golden State and Mark Jackson and those guys to go through that. I mean, like I said, Dwight Howard is a very appealing talent.
That's the thing, yeah.
You kind of don't want to necessarily rule it out because of the upside. Mm-hmm. But it's something they shouldn't do. I wouldn't do. Now, Houston, on the other hand, I think they make the move, or they go ahead and try to talk him into coming because Houston's a team. They've been chasing him for a while. They've been chasing. They chase Paul Gasol. They chase him. They want an elite big man. I don't know why. I guess Hakeem. Yeah, since Hakeem, they've always wanted an elite big man. We saw Yao. Right. Yao. They want that. So I mean, that's what they want. So we'll see if it actually comes through. But if I were him, Houston would be on my list after LA. Yeah. But LA, $30 million.
Right.
You don't turn down $30 million.
And you don't turn down being part of one of the more premier franchises.
Yeah, one of the greatest franchises in all of sports. And we know Kobe's on his way out. Kobe is next year is his last year, right, on his contract. Mm-hmm. And you never say never about a player in a different jersey, but you never know what can happen. Kobe might not even be a Laker after this,
Right.
So, or he might just retire. So,
which is true.
Just you make the best move for you financially and for your future. And I think LA is the best move right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Houston's a nice move, but you're not going to get a lot of money,
Right?
Because they just paid James Harden, and they have that loaded back end deal on Lynn if he makes if he makes it through the contract. So I think you do your best and you try to you just really make the best decision for you and your family long term. I think
Right.
LA is the best decision for him to make long term.
And also the year too, and the added year I think that he can possibly get because he can get, I think he can get an extra. I think he can get 5 years if he goes to LA, but yet if he goes somewhere else, he could possibly get 4. That's just one of those things. And like you said, Atlanta could possibly throw him some money too, but then again, I hate to bag their fan base, but.
Well, I mean, going to Atlanta is nice because the family ties and stuff like that, and they're making moves to be contenders. They had to start from the ground up with getting rid of Joe Johnson, his huge contract.
Mm-hmm.
They kept the core. Josh Smith, Horford, Jeff Teague. They made the playoffs,
Mm-hmm.
so they're not. They're not at the bottom of the totem pole as far as the Eastern Conference of the NBA goes, but that fan attendance, the talk of moving them once. I don't know if you want to commit to that, but at the same time, Dwight Howard gets there and they get on a roll and get on a winning streak. Maybe more fans will come out. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, you may never know what could happen. Then again, they might could just. Dress up just like either win or lose. They're gonna go to the club afterwards. Also, our game update too. The Pacers are already up 28-22 after quarter number 1. A little bit of stats for this game. Roy Hibbert 10 points. David West has also 6 points and 3 rebounds. But also for Miami, LeBron James is doing business as usual, 12 points. But outside of Dwayne Wade, he's not getting too much other help outside of that. So, what has been your thoughts about this game so far?
Lots of turnovers on Miami's part, and Indiana pushing the pace. Indiana's, from what I've seen, they've been pushing it up court. Being aggressive on the boards, being aggressive in the post, and I think, like I told you earlier, I think they're playing with a chip on their shoulder. They know that they let that first game slide out, of their reach, and they're coming out tonight like world beaters.
Oh, definitely. And that's basically the way that they are, and they are a very good team-oriented franchise right here. If you could just see, I think it was the game against the Knicks. They 6 games after that 6 game against the Knicks. They have they just had their whole team out there. Sitting on there, they were as young, and it's just pretty much that's what they are, and that's how they do it. I mean, once again, that's just them right here. So we're gonna see how does this hold up for the rest of the game, but don't expect Miami to lay down, and don't expect Indiana to lay down either.
Right, and that's basically what we're seeing right now is as Indiana extends their lead 29-22, and right now it's weird seeing Miami down this much this early. The last game seemed a bit more balanced, and Miami came out a little bit sharper, but right now Indiana looks to be the more dominant team due to them playing just on basketball. And, Frank Vogel is a great young coach, and he knows this team's moves. And I'm pretty sure he tapped into that anger.
Right.
Right now, we see the score extend 31-22 by Indiana. And, top of the second quarter. But look how aggressive Indiana's playing. Reaching in, calling, looking for turnovers.
And especially against a team like Miami, you have to do that. You have to stop them. You have to basically try to get the momentum going your way before they can come back and beat you. So They're doing a very good job at that right now, and we're going to continue to get the chance to see what do they do afterwards and all that. In other words, we're going to basically go ahead and take ourselves a 30-second break. We're going to try to get our guest on the show. So we'll be right back in 30 seconds. This is Gafford and Brown Show. All right. So we welcome you back to the Gafford and Brown Show. This is we got ourselves our very good guest here tonight. We got ourselves Sean K. Benton. His Twitter name is @SKBEasy, and he's also the owner of the blog Real Sports Talk. That's realsportsrealtalk.wordpress.com. How you doing today, Sean? Hello? Okay, I guess he must be outside on for a minute.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead. Hey, how you doing? Huh? Yeah, I'm here. We're here. Okay, so basically we're right here. We're talking about the game right now. We're basically talking about pretty much the first part of the Eastern Series and all that stuff. What is your thoughts about Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals and everything and how that all went through?
Well, my thought is, everybody's thinking Miami Heat due to the fact that LeBron James and Wayne Wade and Chris Bosh are basically the Olympic three, I would call it. However, I have to give credit where credit. Coach Frank Vogel has done a great job with the Indiana Pacers. They had a great game plan. They took the Heat to the wire. Unfortunately, it came up short in overtime. Now, I do kind of thought Coach Vogel for that and taking Sherman out. I really think that Sherman would have made a difference to LeBron scoring that shot. It would have been a foul or something that would have forced the Miami Heat to take a jump shot. As you know, a jump shot is an open three shot as compared to the layup he made last night the other night against the Pacers. And, all in all, as we see right now, the Pacers are leading more than almost to halftime. The Pacers are a good young team. They have a chance of upsetting the Heat in a 7-game series.
Right, and I think one of the reasons why we saw Vogel take him out was because the way Bosh got a lot of scoring opportunities on the perimeter. And Vogel's a young coach, so I think he kind of overthought a little bit. I think he was overthinking that last play a little bit. What do you think led to his decision to do that?
It looks like we got ourselves a little bit of technical difficulties with our special guest. Anytime that we can try to get him right back on the air, we will try to keep him on the line. Let's give you a game update right now. Indiana's up 33-27 as Birdman makes a two-pointer. He gets fouled, and he's going to go to the line for a chance to complete the and one. Looks like we got ourselves a timeout as well. So right now, 27, Indiana. Indiana's still pretty much keeping the fight in this one right here, but we're starting to see Miami starting to heat up a little bit,
Yeah. Well, Miami heat up a little bit, They're going to make their run. The series is basically a game of run. So Miami's going to make a run at the Pacers. They're going to get some adjustments made at halftime. The Pacers might come out and make adjustments. It all is just a game of run. So whoever makes the best adjustment when the clock hits 0, that's who wins the game.
Definitely so. And also, and we got our guest back on, by the way, too. And also, I want to try to focus on about the Western Conference Finals, too. Do you think Memphis has a chance of coming back, or do you think they can still make it a very good series, or do you think San Antonio pretty much is going to have their number for the rest?
Well, as you know, Memphis got San Antonio last year. They had San Antonio number last year, and they upset San Antonio in their series. However, this year, San Antonio's experienced team. Not to take nothing from Lonnie Hollins and the Grizzlies. However, they're up 2-0. Now, the series shift back to Memphis this weekend. As you know, the Grizzlies are undefeated at home in playoffs. So that's going to be a big challenge for the San Antonio Spurs. As you know, Memphis is a young team. They got good legs. They got good guards with Collins. They got big guys with Zebo, Paul Gasol's brother, Marcus Hall. I mean, they got a lot of things, Prince, so they got a lot of things working in their favor when they go home. Plus, that Rogers crowd down there at Teddy Marina up in Memphis. So it's going to be a blast for the next 2 games.
It definitely will be, and I think we possibly can, pretty much can see ourselves right now having. I would not be surprised at all if Memphis goes ahead, if not just take Game 3, but also take Game 4. We could possibly see it go back to San Antonio at 2-2, and we're pretty much having this discussion all the way over again in pretty much like a 3-game series just to determine who's get the chance to go to the NBA Finals.
Well, as you recall last year, it was kind of like 2-0 going to Memphis, and Memphis swept Game 3 and 4, and they had enough momentum, and they stole Game 5 in San Antonio. So that could be the big 2 games going to be a momentum change for the Memphis Grizzlies. And going back, San Antonio tied up 2-2. They're going to have the momentum. Coach Lionel Hollins has done a great job with those young Grizzlies. As you know, right now he's playing the Spears team. Tim Duncan is playing at 37 years old. He's going through a divorce right now. I'm pretty sure you just saw that in the media blitz. But however, he's playing lights out. Tony Parker is playing lights out as well for the San Antonio Spurs. So that 1-2 punch there alone might cause problems. However, when you get in Memphis and those young Grizzlies get up and down running with Mike Collins shooting a 3, Tayshaun Prince, and Big Z go down low, anything can happen.
Yeah, and that's something that a lot of people have to keep in mind, that this Memphis team, is a team. It's just about the same team that beat San Antonio back in 2011. Minus Rudy Gay and a few others, but I see them getting back into it. I see them taking the next game. Actually, who do you think wins the next game?
Well, the next game, I'm going to say Memphis wins, because if they're home, they're going to have all the momentum going. They have never lost a playoff game this year in the Phoenix Arena, so they're going to be pumped. I'm going to pick Memphis to upstage the Spurs in Game 3.
Yeah, and that's my thinking as well. Like you said, these next 2 games are going to be very important. Now, we're watching this Indiana game. Miami's making a little comeback right now. What do you think? What adjustments do you think Miami's going to make next half? Because they've been a little sloppy coming out with a lot of turnovers.
No, I really think that Coach Spoelstra is going to go in there and settle his team now. He's going to get back to what he does best. He's going to get the ball in the hands of LeBron James. He's going to get the ball in the hands of Dwayne Wade. He's going to get the ball in the hands of Chris Bosh. He's going to get a lot of slashes to go attacking the rim. He's going to try to go at Roy Hibbert. He's going to try to be it's being a tense game. As you can see, it's a lot of fouls. It's kind of nasty because basically Indiana is saying we're not going to get pumped. And that's basically what they're saying. So I think they're going to settle down. Coach going to get those guys going. And I see Indiana making a run at them, but I still see Miami pulling it off in the end.
Yeah, so you think you have Miami going up 2-0?
I think Miami going to go 2-0. And things might change in Indiana for sure.
Oh, so you got to end it in 5 or?
I would think that Indiana. I really think Indiana's going to get in 7. But this game here, the first game was a tough one to tough pill to swallow after the overtime loss. If Indiana does hold on and get this win, that changes everything. Right. You can regain home court advantage. You tie the series up, you take the series back to Indiana. And that's a tough place to take for a big house to play.
Yeah. As we see right now, Hansborough with the foul on Dwayne Wade, and D Wade getting a little confrontational. Now I don't see, I didn't really see too much in that the warrant a technical or anything.
Well, the game is starting to get a little touchy.
Yeah.
So, it's getting a little touchy. People trying to make statements in the game. And Indiana's trying to let them know we're not going to get bumped.
Yeah, and this, like I told people earlier, this is an Indiana team that last year tried to get that message across to the Heat. With Danny Granger last year, basically in LeBron face, hard fouls, and they brought a lot of that same intensity to this series this year.
Yeah. Well, last year they kind of reverse roles. But remember, Indiana basically slapped Miami in the jaw last year, and Miami had to go into Indiana and win those 2 games. Remember that?
Yeah.
So basically, they use a reverse role. So we'll see how this goes this round.
Definitely so. And also, we want to try to keep our focus up pretty much on the. We want to try to keep our And somebody actually, I think Clarence had put on our chat here. Well, I wonder what Tim Donaghy got to say about Scott Foster. That's funny. But what the thing is, I also want to talk about here, outside of the, pretty much on the hardwood, staying on the hardwood, Dwight Howard. And we were talking a little bit about this earlier on the show, and we said that he has now another team that he's considering on the list, Golden State. Sean, could you please tell me where you think he's going to go?
Well, I was reading online in sports today when I was at work online, and it said that the Dwight Howard decision is based on taxes. T-A-E-X, taxes, IRS taxes.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, in the state of Texas, there are no sales tax. So a lot of NBA guys reside in Houston, Sugarland area, the Woodlands, the Dallas area, reside in Texas because the sales tax, or the income tax, I would say, is very cheap.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people think that if you may come to Houston as a result of that, I don't think so. I mean, if you're looking from a money aspect of it, as I told you before, I really think that Daryl Morey, the general manager for Houston, will have to lose the trade to get Dwight Howard. He's going to have to go something trade Chandler Parsons, Patrick Douglas. He's going to give up something to LA to get him. Also, you got to think too, other teams that came in the road were Golden State. Well, Golden State needs a big man.
Mm-hmm.
They need a big man. So that would be interesting. Also, they try to get a package deal with Chris Paul and Dwight Howard going to Atlanta to try to join with Smith.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting. So, anything can happen right now. And right now, Dallas is coming in the mix. Dallas is trying to trade away their lottery pick so they can have open up a lot of cap space to lure Howard to Dallas. Mark Cuban will make anything happen.
Ooh,
So, it can be any type of scenario.
I can't see him going to Dallas just because Dallas is so far away to me with contending. And I think right now, if I'm Dwight Howard, I take the money. I stay in LA and I get my money. But if you want to win, I think your best bets would be Houston or Golden State.
Yeah, I agree with you. With Golden State, you got young shooters with Klay Thompson
Right.
and Curry there already, and you can throw Jared Jack.
Right.
You got guys, Colin Landry coming off the bench. You got it's some interesting parts that plus Mark Jackson does a good job in coaching those guys. So you got a lot of guys who just push them outside, and they'll be willing to pump the ball inside.
Right.
Houston, on the other hand, for that to happen, somebody's going to get moved. Somebody's going to be moved. So I'll be interested to see what Daryl Morey does.
Right. Now, if you go to State, you have this young team where, you can call Jared Jack a veteran, Carl Landry, you can call him a veteran, but you have really a young team on paper. You got a young coach. Do you really want to add that headache that is Dwight Howard to your team? Does his talent trump his personal and his decision making? Does it trump the headache that comes with him?
Well, I don't really see that with Dwight Howard as a headache. As you recall, when he was in Orlando, he was kind of sort of the prototype NBA player. He played hard, came with this Superman image, won the dunk contest a couple of years ago. So he went to the NBA Finals and he ended up losing to the Lakers a couple of years ago. So I don't really see him as a headache right now. Thinking, and I would say, I'm going to use the term immature. He's trying to find a team that's suitable for him. That's not, for him, where he can still play like he played in Orlando, still get all the attention and at the same time win. So you have to put certain pieces around Dwight Howard. I think the situation would happen to Dwight Howard in LA with D'Antonio coming on, the offense, if Mike D'Antonio runs doesn't fit Dwight Howard. He's not a running gun type of guy. He is a post guy, like Shaquille O'Neal, the rest of the centers who can run in a triangle offense. If Phil Jackson would have got that job in LA, I think he would have stayed in LA with Kobe. That would have been a nice 1-2 punch to Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe teamed up a couple years ago as well.
Right. Now, I don't know. I think Golden State. I think right now on paper, I think they're good enough to compete and continue still without making that move to get Dwight. But you never know. I think if I'm Dwight though, I really stay in LA with one of the greatest franchises in all sports, and you get your money.
Well, the thing about that is, I have to disagree with you because you look at Golden State issue. Golden State is actually a player or two away. They ran out of gas against San Antonio because they were basically missing certain key elements. They didn't have anybody to stop this number. Nobody.
I agree with you there a little bit, but I think injuries played a little bit of that role because Steph Curry was playing on two bad ankles. David Lee playing injured. I think experience. I think the Spurs would. I think the experience helped the Spurs a little bit more. Like that first game where they gave up. Golden State gave them an 18-point lead. Yeah. I think Pop just outcoached Mark a little bit. This is Mark's second year. I think experience got the better end. But I can see where you're coming from too with that player perspective. Because if they had a guy like Dwight, who can give you 20-10, contend with Duncan, maybe they could have changed the tide. But
well, what you gotta understand too, in the West, you gotta think about it. If Robert Westbrook doesn't go down for OKC is basically playing San Antonio right now. Instead of Memphis.
Yeah.
Robert Westbrook made a difference. That's a 29-point game loss. Plus, you put a lot of stress on KD. Kevin Durant, as we call him, KD. So that basically changed the map in the West. Golden State is, like I say, they went in as a 6 seed. They upset Denver. They were a great matchup for Denver because Denver basically was the same type of team. They run and gun and shoot balls with three. And try to do a lot of things. And it was a great matchup for them, and they actually when they stole the game out of Denver, they were able to take control of that series and win back home in Golden State. So, to me, comparing Golden State to the elite teams, the OKCs with a healthy Westbrook, the San Antonio Spurs, they still, to me, are 1 or 2 players away. They need a big man. Not David Lee, but David Lee is not a Dwight Howard. David Lee is not, a Shaquille O'Neal, a dominant player. So they need someone that's close to that to help offset Curry and Klay Thompson scoring on the inside.
True that. And also wanted to also go outside of the back of the hardwood, and pretty much we were talking about this the other day too, about Tiger Woods and about that whole scenario between him and Sergio Garcia. And we're gonna talk about that afterwards too, after this segment here. But I just wanted your thoughts about the whole comments and stuff.
I really think that the comment was basically blown out of context. Sergio made a reference, and I think it touched kind of feeling the wrong way, and Tiger made the right comment and fired back in response to Sergio. It kind of made Sergio feel like a so-called, I hate to use the word idiot, but this is professional golf. You got to know you're a professional. You're in the media. Certain things you just don't say. Certain things you don't relate. Towards ethnicity, to certain people. So, it was taken out of context. You did apologize, and I just say, everybody makes big. Everybody remember back in the day when Jimmy the Greek made statements about African Americans and hate and all that stuff. So, he did apologize. He took it out of context. Tiger, responded to it, and I'm like, this is time to let them golf they did, and let Tiger go ahead and win some more golf championship.
And basically so, and it's pretty much gonna. I cannot wait to see what's gonna happen. I think the next time they basically face against each other, I think more than likely it's gonna be the U.S. Open, and I really cannot wait to see how they build that up, and between the both of them, because we both know Sergio Garcia. He was also supposed to be the phenom too. That was also supposed to, give Tiger a little bit of those, a run for his money. And however, it has not come to those fruition. He's been close into some of the majors, but he hasn't done it yet. So who knows? Maybe they might try to build this up or something.
Well, media's gonna make a lot of things out of it. You gotta understand what's stories like this sell. It's gonna sell in newspapers. It's gonna sell on the internet. It's gonna be on television. So if you build something like that up, everybody's gonna be ready to watch the U.S. Open. Tiger Woods versus Sergio. Let's see what happens. Let's see if Tiger will be back on this game. Let's see how Sergio responds to Tiger. It's gonna be something said. So like I said, it's about compensation.
Right.
Sell and that's sell.
Exactly, and like you said, I can't wait to see him win some more golf tournaments myself too, because man, it's just too long. It's been like 5 years since he's won a major. It's about time. We need to see him back.
Yeah, well, Tiger's had a tough 3 or 4 years. The situation with his wife, ton of money lost, the house. A lot of things. So basically, he had to go through a lot. And as when you go through a lot, it makes you strong. When you gain that strong, got his mind right. He got back on the golf course. Back to seeing the whole title room.
Exactly. Well, we're pretty much gonna let you go right away, right now. Just go back to watching the game and everything. But it's been a pleasure having you on the show, Sean. Anytime you want to come back, hey, just let us know.
Thank you so much, man. Anytime.
All right.
All right. Thank you, man.
You're welcome. All right, that was Sean K. Benton we had on the show. Once again, like we said, you can reach him on Twitter, SKBEasy. And you can also read his blog, realsportsrealtalk.wordpress.com. When we come back, we're going to go ahead and talk about a little bit about the Sergio Garcia comments with Tiger Woods and anything else that's happening going along in the sports world today, and also give you another update on the game itself. And by the way, we'll go ahead and give you an update right now. It is tied up at 37 with 5:36 left in the second quarter, with Paul George shooting at the line pretty much. He made his first. We're going to see if he's going to make his second before we go to the commercial break. And let's see. Here we go. We're going to check and see what's going to happen right here. And he makes the second. So 39-37 Indiana. We're going to go ahead and take ourselves a 30-second break, and we will be right back on the air with the Gafford and Brown Show. All right, we're right back with the Gafford and Brown Show, and pretty much we had ourselves two very good segments here. We're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about the...
We got to talk about how Notre Dame may owe Charlie Weiss $19 million. That is ridiculous.
That's a good point. I have not heard this story either.
Yes, I stumbled upon it not too long ago. It's something that I didn't know was still going on. It makes you think, are they still paying Ty?
That's an interesting story too. And once again, I continue to have to say here, I just feel like that whole Ty Willingham situation was just so messed up right there. Like, out of all, you honor all your coaches into giving them, you honor their first contract. You honored Jerry Voss in giving him in having him stay on, and he was a pretty bad coach according to Notre Dame standpoints. But yet you fire Ty. You basically give him the boot and all that. But really, $19 million?
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous. I mean, for a coach that really only gave you a bowl win.
Yeah.
And pretty much nothing else.
Yeah, exactly. And right now, what Charlie Weiss is doing, pretty much, he's the head coach at Kansas, and we'll see what he can do with them. But I really don't know what's going to happen with that scenario as well.
Yeah, and it's a trip, man.
It really is, and it's just one of those things here. Like, especially with all these coaches and all that stuff. I mean, hey, you got Mike Brown. Pretty much, he's getting paid pretty much for his time in LA, and he's also going to get paid for being back in Cleveland. And that's just going to be one of those scenarios too. Like, Mike Brown didn't necessarily have to get right back out there, but he's right back out there. And that's just going to be one of those things too.
Right.
So we're also going to talk about right now the Tiger Woods scenario. Did you get a chance to look at the comments?
I've yet to read the comments or anything and know exactly what's offensive, but I'm interested in. My interest in Sergio and the eventual matchup between him and Tiger has my interest now.
Right, and once again, and as we had said earlier, that. We said that Sergio Garcia was going to be. A lot of people had tabbed him as being the phenom one of the better phenoms. Going to be a phenom of the PGA Tour. Like, I think it was back in the '90s when he came out and he was going to be the golfer, and he was pretty much going to be Tiger Woods' biggest rival and all that. Unfortunately, he hasn't won a major, as we had said previously. He's been close to winning a major, but Tiger has basically lapped him and done so much better than him in that regard. And I'm actually trying to pull up the comment right here, but It's just that these two have had a pretty good spat, and that kind of, in a way, it kind of does something here in a way for golf. I mean, it makes you really want to look at it a little bit more and see what's going to happen and all that.
Yeah, and I'm still, needing to find out a little bit more about the story exactly, because I mean, Tiger has always been in the mix of racial comments and things like that, because he's a trailblazer and in the game of golf, and he's in a way tearing down the good old boy structure that's been around the game, and so it's kind of shocking. Well, I'm not gonna necessarily say shocking to still see that type of stuff going in 2013, but
Yeah, and it's just one of those things. And I've listened to PT. I think Around the Horn actually the other day about the same comments, and a lot of people gave their take about it. I mean, Bo Monty Jones gave his take about it. I remember Bill Plaschke saying that and all that. And it's just one of those things right there that you kind of wish it doesn't happen. And but then again, it just makes you think here. If he's saying it, and we know that Sergio is not white. I think he's Spanish. But if he's saying it, can you imagine what is it like out inside from other members of the golf community too?
Yeah, but what was exactly Sergio?
That's what I'm trying to pull it up.
That's what I need to know. I know it pertains to something about something a bit racial, but I've yet to still hear all the.
It was something about a fried chicken joke.
Something about fried chicken.
Fried chicken joke, yes.
Tiger Woods probably hasn't eaten fried chicken since he was a kid. I mean, it's crazy, but I mean, wow. I guess that's racist jokes 101. You want to make fun of black guys, say something about fried chicken or watermelon. So, but yeah, that's childish, and
it really is.
Probably gonna pay for it, because I'm pretty sure a pissed off Tiger is a Tiger you don't want to see. And
right.
Like you just said earlier, he's due for a major win. So
right. Either way, and you just don't want to poke the bear. I mean, like I said, it's been 5 years since Tiger has won a major, and I think this is the longest drought of his career. And obviously, he's had problems about the certain thing, wife, divorce, affair, all that different type of stuff. But his game, he's starting to come all the way back right now. And the last thing that you want to do is motivate Tiger Woods, because Tiger's just like, in a way, in a sense, he's kind of like Michael Jordan. It's like, you say something to get him going and all that stuff, lights out. So he's going to prove you wrong. He's just going to do that.
Yeah, and that's just Tiger Woods. The guy's like the Jedi of golf. So I'm pretty sure he's focused and he's going to be at his best. Because not even with just necessarily Sergio coming, but just the fact that he hasn't won in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's eating him alive. And the fact that he still wants to prove that he's elite. He's still the best. I mean, remember last year everybody got swept up in the bubble. I forgot his last name.
Bubba Watson?
Yeah, Bubba Watson.
Yeah.
How he won, and he's like, golf had a little new face, and he was just the darling then, so
right.
That's more fuel to the fire for Tiger, just to prove that he's still elite and he still needs to be mentioned in that elite class of golfers.
It's just all these golfers, they always step up here. You like you said, you always have these faces and all this stuff. But the one person that always continues to withstand the time, Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
No matter what, Tiger Woods. Whatever challenge that you put out to Tiger Woods is going to go out there and obliterate the challenge. I remember, I think this was a match play title that it was like a couple of years back, and it was kind of like a tournament style thing. And I think Tiger Woods was the #1 player in the world at the time, and he was facing against the number 64 guy. And I think the 64 guy was like, well, I forgot his name. I think his last name was like Ames or something like that. And he was like, well, you know what? It's possible that I could go out there and beat him. And you want to know what happened? What Tiger did to that man? Pretty much embarrassed him. And that's just one of those things right there that Tiger can do. So, I mean, that's just it right there. And and everything. And man, it's just crazy right there. Other news here, and also game update right now, with Indiana pretty much taken away in this lead right here, 46-37. Indiana continues to, pretty much showcase their will. Like Miami had their run, but now Indiana's having their run.
Yeah, and Indiana right now, who's been playing aggressive all games, you mentioned earlier, keeping it going with the intensity level. And we mentioned with our guest earlier about what changes Spoelstra had to make, and he's definitely going to have to settle his guys down because Miami has had a lot of turnovers early. They're getting outmanned on the rebounds. So I'm anxious to see what moves Spoelstra is going to make, and just see if he can get his team calmed down because Indiana's on a roll right now. They're about to go to the line right now, foul on Chris Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and
you don't want to get too out of reach.
Right. And the funny thing is this, and like you said, we had Vogel. He's pretty much inspired his guys to come out there and play hard. And that's gonna be, I forgot to mention it earlier. That was like the thing here, pretty much of all this. Like, that tells you how good of a coach that you can be. Good coaches are pretty much able to continue to do what they do. But what tells us the sign of a great coach is, can he make those necessary adjustments? Look at his mistakes of what he did over the last game, and how can he build up those mistakes? I mean, not saying that he has to win this series in order to do that, but I'm just saying too. I mean, that'll go a long way to really telling us what Vogel was pretty much made out of.
Right.
So, also some of the other news here that's going on in the sports world today, and right now, pretty much we were talking about Michael Crabtree with the Achilles injury here with the 49ers. Big blow right there, isn't it?
Yeah, it hurts because with the insertion of Colin Kaepernick, he became basically their number one receiver.
Mm-hmm.
And they built up a good chemistry, but now with him hurt, I just think it gives Mario Manningham basically that number one spot because it hurts, but they're so loaded right now. They made the trade for Anquan Bolden during the offseason. Mm-hmm. You have Vernon Davis, who's arguably the biggest target. You have Mario Manningham coming back from injury. I mean, they're so loaded right now that I think they'll still be pretty good.
Definitely.
And once he gets back, slowly plug him back into the system.
And I don't think, of course it hurts. And of course it hurts. And as for right now, who knows, it might turn the division tide to possibly Seattle. It gives them a little bit more of a leg up in there. But San Francisco's not going to miss the playoffs at all. I mean, because their style of football is pretty much, they're pretty much going to continue to play good defense. They're going to run the football and ball control. And I still think that they still have enough that they can do pretty well too. Because Anquan Bolden, he's no slouch. I mean, he's a pretty reliable receiver. It's just like you said, Manningham's going to have to step up too. And of course, you got Vernon Davis, who can continue to be a pretty good tight end as well.
Yeah, and the thing about Mario Manningham, we really didn't get to see him in that many games last year due to injury. So I'm pretty sure he's ready to get back out on the field and show people that he's still, an elite receiver and a guy who just a year removed ago, made one of the most dynamic catches, in Super Bowl memory.
Yes.
So I'm pretty sure he's ready to get back out there and show people what he's got, and that this season, should be seen as, much of a room for panic with the Crabtree injury because he's there. And, I think Ted Ginn Jr. is still on the roster. He's a guy that they still can plug in. And, they have James from Oregon in the backfield.
Oh, yeah.
The guy who goes out on screen. So, yeah, I mean, this San Francisco team is loaded.
It still is in all and stuff like that. And also keeping it with the San Francisco thing, too. We all know now where the Super Bowl is going to be in Super Bowl 50 and 51. Super Bowl 50 is going to be in San Francisco. Super Bowl 51 is going to be in Houston. However, the loser of the whole thing, South Florida.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not like we've never seen the Super Bowl in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't think it's necessarily a travesty, but a Super Bowl in San Francisco is interesting because not only are the Niners just removed from Super Bowl, I mean, they're a team that's favored to win not only probably this upcoming season, but next year as well. They're so loaded, and Colin Kaepernick, he's only 24 years old, so there's a great chance that what did you say, Super Bowl 50 in San Francisco?
50, yeah.
Super Bowl 50 could be in San Francisco with the 49ers probably playing in it. And I don't think we've had a team yet to win a Super Bowl in their hometown.
Happened.
I don't think we've seen that before in modern, since in the history of the Super Bowl.
Right. And so that would be a very good treat. And I think Super Bowl 50, we're right now we're at 47 this year, right?
Right.
47. So that's 3 years from now. That's like 2016, 2017. Those years right there. That would be pretty amazing just to see it. It's just to see that happening too. And Houston having the Super Bowl again. They gave us that very good Panthers and Patriots.
The greatest Super Bowl I've ever seen in my lifetime. Honestly, that to me is the greatest Super Bowl because what was it? Was it overtime? First Super Bowl to go overtime, I believe.
No, not overtime. Still haven't had no overtime.
That game didn't go overtime?
Well, it did come close. It was like Vinatieri, having to kick another game-winning field goal to win the game.
Oh, I thought that game went overtime.
Nah.
But yeah, it was a great Super Bowl game.
Yeah, it just gave us everything. You had a very good run to start off with.
Are you sure it didn't go overtime?
It didn't. It didn't.
Are you positive?
I'm very positive, Rob. It didn't go.
Let's go to Wikipedia. Just to make sure. I'm pretty sure. I'm no stranger to being wrong. I just want to see did that game not go to overtime.
That game just had every single thing.
You had
slow
suspense.
starting off. Yes.
Yeah, you had everything.
Janet Jackson.
Which unfortunately became the highlight of the whole game.
Thing.
But
one
of the great Super Bowl that with Ricky Prohl once again coming in and giving magic, and then you had Jay Delhomme being just a guy that came from obscurity to almost a Super Bowl MVP.
Mm-hmm.
But once again, Brady and company won that one.
And continue to show everything right there. And yeah, it was close. 32-29. Vinatieri basically winning the game.
Yeah.
With
like he did just about all.
4 seconds left in the
4 seconds left in regulation. So we got close to an overtime.
One of these days, I feel like we're gonna have an overtime.
Well, we came close almost last
year,
I believe.
Yeah. Because that one right there, I guess in a way, the lights having to go out. Hey, that kind of helped everybody out as far as the Super Bowl too. But dang, it's just one of those things. If like you said, if you're in Florida too, I can imagine how they feel about that. But they're gonna get the Super Bowl again. And while we're staying pretty much on the topic of the Super Bowl too, like this year's Super Bowl in New York City, I mean, are you good to that idea, bad to that idea, or?
I mean, it's a big market, I mean, I think the Super Bowl values more when it's in warm places, but it's in a big market, and I'm pretty sure they're going to benefit from that.
And Clarence has actually given us scenarios about overtime Super Bowls. Possibly, had Casey not kicked the ball out of bounds, it could have went to overtime.
True.
Had Manning not throw a pick six in 2010, that game could have went to OT.
True.
Possibly had Vinatieri missed that field goal against the Rams, that one would have went to OT.
Yeah, there's been a lot. There's a lot of possibilities. I still think the best finish to a Super Bowl I've seen would have to go to the St. Louis Rams versus the Tennessee Titans with
Yes.
my boy stretched out,
Mm-hmm.
ball, not even breaking the plane at the 1 yard line.
Yes.
Greatest ending to a Super Bowl I think ever.
That is pretty much.
Cause field goals to me just so it's kind of bittersweet.
Mhm.
I hate seeing kickers get all the glory. 'Cause it's like you just watch the whole game basically on the sideline and you come in for that one shining moment. But
Right.
yeah, it's definitely the greatest ending I've seen to a Super Bowl.
It's like Mike Miller's.
Mike Miller comes back in Miami and gets them closer to getting back in this game.
And with that very good, let's see, wow, nice pass by LeBron, and then Mike Miller once again hitting threes, and he's once again just doing what he normally does.
Yeah, Mike Miller has always been one of my favorite role players just because he plays with a lot of heart and he comes through with, big threes. I've been a Mike Miller fan since his Orlando days.
Definitely so. And it just continues to remind me of this rant that Dan Le Batard said, I think, of following the finals, saying Mike Miller broke your back with a broken back. His back is broken. And it looked like he was still wincing a little bit after that, but, it's just one of those things, too. That if he continues to do pretty well, and of course, you're not going to expect him to come out there for a lot of games in the series because you got Battier and you also have Allen, but who knows? But so basically, right now at halftime, it is, I think it is 53-50 Indiana. 53-50 Indiana. This game is pretty much everything that we really asked for in this, and pretty much it's going back and forth.
Yeah, it's going back and forth now, but we saw Indiana pull away earlier in the second quarter, and right now Miami's closing the gap. But definitely a good game. I see it going down to the wire once again. Pretty sure Roy Hibbert's going to be in the last play of the game because Frank Vogel probably doesn't want to take any more slack or BS from the public and media. But yeah, definitely can't wait to see this series get back to Indiana, win or lose, because that crowd is going to be so intense. And the thing about Pacer fans, though, they go hard for these teams. Like, this is the same group of, well, you don't want to say the same group, but these people burned down Richard Miller's house when he was thinking about possibly leaving. So you burned down somebody's house, you care about winning. You better not leave it. If I get burned jersey, we're going to burn your house down.
Oh, man.
You leave Indiana and see what happens.
I just wonder how they felt like maybe if Ron Artest wasn't such a head case, how they probably have felt.
No, well, yeah. Once you get suspended for basically a whole season, it's like you kind of, out of sight, out of mind. So, and what's weird about that season? A lot of people picked the Pacers to win the title that year.
Mm-hmm.
I remember reading a couple of magazines, they were picking the Pacers to win the title that year, and the next thing you know, it went down at the Palace. And, yeah.
Please, Clarence, chime in on this one right here too. Please chime in on this because I know you have a lot to say about Indiana.
I remember that night. I was watching the game. I remember watching the game because Artest made an unnecessary foul. Detroit killed them, beat the floor with them, and Ron Artest gave an unnecessary foul to Ben Wallace. Ben Wallace got pissed, shoved him in the face. And, he went to the line.
Oh,
and
God.
while he was at the line, Ron Artest, lying on the table, just chilling. Boom! That thing, gets hit.
World War III.
And you don't even see him running to the stands. You don't see that. What you saw was Ben Wallace shooting free throws, and then next thing you know, all hell breaks loose.
A lot of people are going to say one of the worst melees, but then again, it's kind of way entertaining.
Yeah, man, watching Fred Jones get beat up People don't remember that Fred Jones got beat. It was a big black guy in the stands beating up Fred Jones. I'm punching him in the head. Like people talking about Ron Artest attacking that guy and Steven Jackson punching the and Jermaine O'Neal punching the guy on the floor.
Who's the one that had the sliding?
That was Jermaine O'Neal.
Jermaine O'Neal, yeah.
Jermaine O'Neal slid into this guy. Epic punch. And I mean, I would never forget that. It was one of the. That's the closest I think an organized professional sport came to wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
That was all. It was pretty awesome to watch and sad at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Because we kind of just knew right then and there. And without that, it kind of ruined a little bit of the Pacers right there, especially with O'Neal getting suspended for like 25 games and stuff like that. It's just, yeah, definitely. And Clarence basically said Tayshaun Prince ended their title hopes the season before. I think that block.
Yeah, that block, that epic block.
That was an epic block too.
Yeah, Reggie Miller was like, man, look, I gotta get up out of here, man. I gotta retire after that, man. I can't keep on doing it. I think Reggie Miller could come back today if he wanted to.
Yes, he pretty much can. He can be a pretty good, and of course he can give you the occasional three here and there. Gives me a good idea for a question here. If you were to have an opportunity to make a three, Reggie Miller, Ray Allen.
I go Reggie all day, just because. What was the point? How many points was it in those seconds?
8 points 9 seconds.
Yeah, Reggie all day. Got love for Ray, love Ray Allen, but I'd take Reggie.
Reggie too. I mean, it's just that with Reggie Miller, 8 points 9 seconds. That was one thing, and ironically, we saw. I think Winning Time came on last night. Some else too, but 8 points 9 seconds. He loved those New York crowds. Basically, the 25-point barrage that he had, I think the year before in Game 5 in MSG, just to give the Pacers a 3-2 lead, even though they didn't win the series, with everybody basically yelling at him and Spike Lee yelling at him. That has something to say too. Like, it's just Reggie's had his most memorable clutch moments. Did not win a ring. I know we say a lot about him as an announcer, saying that he should shut up sometimes. But Reggie Miller, he talked a big game, and he basically brought the smack up.
Oh man, people forget the fight he had with Michael Jordan, the little headbutt match.
Mm-hmm.
So he started. He's an epic player. I don't think there was a guy that played with so much intensity that I've seen in the modern era. Just so intense. People forget
the fight that he had with Kobe.
Yeah, the little exchange with Kobe.
So that's just yeah. I forgot about that Michael Jordan fight myself. Clarence says Ray is more of a set shooter. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, because like I said, Reggie Miller, pressure type situations, you're gonna give him the ball. He's basically gonna go out there. He's gonna shoot, and he makes it. That's just it. That's just one of those things too for him. Let's see some more sports news here that's also going on as well. Been keeping up a little bit with the hockey playoffs and stuff like that.
I haven't, unfortunately.
So far, I'm looking at it right now. So far, in terms of the playoffs here, we think we're gonna one of these days we're gonna get ourselves into the looking at the hockey here because I think this is about our time to, us casual fans step into play here. Pittsburgh's leading their series against Iowa 3-1. The Rangers of New York, they're trailing Boston 3-1. Detroit is leading 3-1 over the Chicago Blackhawks, which we had said that they had a very good start to their season.
Yeah.
Detroit is once again showing why they're reliable. They're reliable veterans.
The Red Wings are just they're the bosses of hockey. Granted, I mean, I remember when I was growing up that they were always winning,
Mm-hmm.
and that you just gotta have love for them.
Exactly. They're just like the Spurs and Patriots as well. It's just like you gotta hate them, but then again you gotta respect them too. And then you also got LA, the LA Kings, the defending champions. They're up 3-2 over San Jose. So yeah, we're pretty much one. Well, I think once we get into the ending part of the playoffs here, and once we get into the Stanley Cup Finals, we're gonna try to get ourselves a hockey. We're gonna get ourselves some hockey guys.
Yeah,
out
yeah.
there soon.
I know the perfect guy. Surprising.
Mm-hmm.
Huge hockey fan. Actually has a blog. It actually does a great special every Black History Month on the impact Black people have had in hockey and hockey players. So
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure he'll be ready to talk hockey.
Definitely so.
Also, our good friend, Mr. ESPN, is a huge hockey fan.
Oh yes, definitely, and we got to have them on the show once before too, and especially if the Red Wings continue this run. James, if you're listening to us, man, hey, hit us up, man. You got to be on the show. You have to do it. You have to do this. You have to do this for me and Rob.
Yeah.
If at all any time possible, you got to do this. You have to do this. Let's see some more news here. And also Coach K. It looks like Coach K is going to be. I think Coach K is going to return to Team USA.
Yeah, I remember we mentioned this. I don't know if it was necessarily on the show, but maybe in the conversation. But you're telling me so, and that's a great move. A guy that the pros respect and will listen to.
Mm-hmm. And I think once we talking about it here, once they got him back on, once they got him coaching up Team USA after that nightmare team in 2004, which we were talking about too. Coach K is just, he's been committed, and everybody else has been committed to having him out there on this. I mean, on the squad here, and I'm pretty sure of course he's going to be on the 2014 Worlds. And he's also going to be on the 2016 Olympics, and we kind of talked about this in the conversation too. But I'm pretty much, and I think they mentioned this before, and I'm pretty much for this idea. Maybe we should treat the World Championships as maybe put in our budding stars, like our young superstars and all that stuff that might get Steph Curry and all them,
Yeah, well,
and give them the chance to play in international play. And then maybe in the Olympics, we put in our big guys out there, big guns.
That's been kind of the thing with the World Championship thing. I say since ever since focus has been serious focus is going back to international play in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Like last year with Kevin Durant and James Harden and Westbrook and Rondo and a lot of guys playing for the world team.
Mm-hmm.
In the year before that with Durant also playing that year. So that's kind of the approach they're taking. And the approach I like that they're taking with these teams, that they're getting not just big names, but role players as well.
Mm-hmm.
Glue guys.
And Clarence says, I heard a lot of these players lobbied for him to come back in 2016. Of course. I mean, after Coach K, I think the only person that I probably would have liked for them to have on there would have been possibly a guy like Popovich.
Yeah.
I think that would have been amazing if he would have been on the 2016 squad, because, well, a lot of the Pop is a guy that's, if you see him, he's a very good coach. The way that he coaches, I mean, he can coach any type of style. He can slow you down. He can speed the game up and all this stuff. He's just been one of those well-known coaches.
Yeah.
But I think in 2014 maybe we should try to do that. Give the guys here like Curry and all that. And the amazing thing here too, I think when they put these guys on that 2010, because a lot of players opted out. I think, of course, James and Wade and Bosh, they did because of the contract situation and all that, because of the contract, and they wanted to focus on a little bit more on that. But I think it does a very good wonders for these players as far as the NBA is concerned, because, like you said, we saw Westbrook. I think he was on that team in 2010, And I think we saw Durant on that team in 2010. It elevated their games to great heights.
Yeah. And, with the continued talent we keep seeing, these teams are going to keep going, keep being better. Because Kobe doesn't have too much time left. Of course, LeBron still has a couple years left, but D Wade getting older. Just Jason Kidd's probably not gonna. I don't think he'll be back on another team, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So we still got. I would love to see Rondo get that call up and
Once again,
be a point guard for the U.S. team.
Right.
But we'll see.
And I think they gave some names of who was going to be on that select team in 2013. And I think I'm trying to pull up that list right now. United States select team. But it was there's some pretty good names on that list. There's some pretty good names on that men's basketball team. There's some pretty good names on that list and all that stuff too. And it's just one of those things here. Dang it. If I could pull this up real quick. I think Chandler Parsons was on that list. Which that's pretty interesting too. And all that. So there's a pretty good young stars, and they're gonna have to pretty much limit it down to 12, but Steph Curry's got to be on that list.
Oh yeah, he's got to be on the list.
He's got to be on the list.
He's probably going to play shooting guard at that.
Mm-hmm. I probably wouldn't be surprised if Klay Thompson might get the chance to be on the list either. I mean, maybe, I don't know. Maybe. And they probably would need a defender, maybe like a glue guy or something like that too. So, guys like Paul George, I would be interested in seeing.
Oh yeah, he's definitely going to make the cut now. He's an all-star.
Mm-hmm.
Guys like Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
I mean, you get a lot of young faces. The big man department. JaVale McGee might get a call.
Yes.
So Team USA has nothing to worry about because, ever since the nightmare team of 04,
mm-hmm.
focus has been on putting the elite with the guys that also bring chemistry and other, valuable assets, not just necessarily scoring and big names per se.
Mm-hmm. That's what they got to do. And let me see if there's anything else that's going on right now too, because pretty much we're at halftime and we're just listening to the guys and all this stuff here. But and also, as it says, Tony Allen got fined for his flop. And I think that was the most funniest thing that I possibly could have ever seen, too. Because this is a guy that basically, I think he fell down back first.
I think so.
And here he is holding his face. And I'm like, come on, man. Y'all gotta do better than that, man. You gotta do better than that. Oh, and there's a UFC fight.
Yeah, tomorrow night, big heavyweight title fight. Bigfoot Silva and Cain Velasquez square off. Also get Mark Hunt versus Junior Dos Santos in the co-main event. Going to be a big night, big fight night with a lot of good matchups and a lot of good future matchups coming out of that.
I'm gonna let you have the floor on this one because you know a little bit more about the UFC than I do.
I would like to see Cain Velasquez keep his title and beat Bigfoot Silva and go ahead, and I'd like to see Junior Dos Santos beat Mark Hunt, and we get part 3 of that.
Mm-hmm.
Part 3 is always sell. And those are really the 2 biggest fights on the card. I haven't really paid attention to the rest of the card. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be a lot of good fights as well to round it out.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty excited. I'm probably trying to convince you to watch it too.
Shoot, I'm game for it. I want to see how it is, man. I want to see how it is. Outside of Bones Jones, I don't think I've seen any UFC fights.
Wow.
I think.
Wow. He's a newcomer.
I didn't see the one against with him and Sonic. I just saw the pictures of
the foot, the toe. Yeah, it's pretty gross. And the crazy thing is, if that fight, if the referee probably saw his toe, he would have been in the fight, and Jones probably would have lost the title. The scary thing about that.
Yeah.
But, where a lot of people are expecting a super fight to happen soon between Anderson Silva and George St. Pierre, and if that doesn't go through, John Jones versus Anderson Silva.
Ooh, boy.
And you have Anderson Silva, who's undefeated in the UFC, as well as John Jones, two of the biggest names. Then you have John St. Pierre, who hasn't lost since, who hasn't lost in years, and he's also a big name. You know, you see him in Nike commercials and Gatorade. So UFC has two fights that could go down that could be really big, really big money makers.
I tell you what, it's going to be one of those things I can't wait to see.
Yeah.
And like I said, I want to see this one of these days, too. Dang, I keep on forgetting about the other news and all that different type of stuff, too. Like as far as the NFL news, Brian Urlacher retired.
That's not necessarily surprising, but hurtful with the way he went out with Chicago.
And he's pretty much going to be on that Mount Rushmore of Bears linebacker.
Oh yeah, Mount Rushmore of linebackers possibly.
Period. I mean, he's you know, if you're thinking about linebackers from 2000 and from the 2000s, two names pretty much stand out, and that's, you know, Urlacher and the quarterback Lewis.
Yeah.
And last but not least, the NBA draft lottery, Cleveland Cavaliers win it again, man.
Yeah, they win it again. Luckily, Orlando gets number 2 because this draft class is a little weak. I don't think a lot of teams, like you said, the Mavericks are thinking about trading out of it. So, I mean, you know, we'll see how that goes. But
there's just not anybody that just stands out in this whole draft.
Yeah, you're right.
It just kind of makes me actually wanted to see what would have happened if, like, the Thunder, you know, because of course they have Toronto's pick. I think it was a top 3 protected pick, though. Kind of makes me feel like if OKC had the number 4 pick, they could have possibly traded it away, got themselves some good pieces to go along with that. Yeah. And not saying that they probably can't do that now.
Yeah, with number 12, because that's still enough to, you know, bait and switch a team to get a couple of young pieces, like I said. Also, you know, just thinking about it, you know, who really stood out to you as far as the tournament that probably gets a first round pick?
Boy, this is gonna be interesting here too, because I hear a lot of people talking about that McLemore kid from Kansas.
Yeah,
and that he could possibly be a number 1 pick. And I got a good feeling that if it was me, if I'm a GM, I would pretty much take him as my number 1 over Noel.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't want to take Noel number 1 just because he's limited offensively, especially the defense, which is great. But then he's just getting over that injury, so.
And that's just one of those things right there too. That's just, I kind of wanna. The last guy that we had that was pretty much a legitimate number 1 pick, that was a number 1 and coming back from injury, was Kenyon Martin.
Right.
And that was the worst draft of all time.
Wow.
And I'm not saying that Kenyon Martin's a scrub player because he's still in the league and he's still playing pretty well as a very good role player, but that 2000 draft was just awful.
Wow, but
Stromile Swift is number 2. It was the number 2 pick in the draft.
You know who's my favorite player I see coming out this draft?
Who?
Michael Carter-Williams. I'm a huge fan of him. I think you know, he's a stud at Syracuse. I think he's ready. I think he's one of the guys that's going to come out and actually give a team a boost. I really like that kid. I wish he's still on the board. He would still be on the board by the time I'm home pick, but I really doubt it.
Basically so. And actually, we're pulling up a mock draft here on CBS Sports. They actually have Noel as number 1. They have McLemore as a 2 guy. I think after that, it's going to be pretty much... It's going to be a little bit of a different thing here.
Trey Burke to
New Orleans
of all teams. Now, what if Trey Burke drops and goes to maybe the Pistons, maybe. But I'm really still not sold on Otto Porter. They got him at number 7.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him play a couple times. He's a solid scorer, but I don't know about that high. But this class is so weak. And look at your Dallas Mavericks, number 13, projected to take Shabazz Muhammad, a guy that had a lot of hype earlier in the college season.
That would be interesting to see what he does, what he could do if he's down there at 13. Could he do with a veteran team like the Mavericks that's kind of transitioned to the phase of youth and all that stuff? Could he be serviceable? But then again, could he not be serviceable? Who knows? I mean, it's just going to be interesting to see right there. I give you though one player that I think is going to have a lot of upside. C.J. McCollum.
Yeah.
The guy from Lehigh.
Yeah.
Everybody remembers him. Last year he was hurt, but everybody still remembers him.
And a guy that fits, and they have him going to Minnesota, and he's a guy that would definitely fit in there.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota and white players. Cody Zeller projected to go there as well, if not, yeah. But just looking at the board, still, yeah, it's a weak class.
It's nothing really stands out about this class.
Considered to be number 1, that lets you know right there that this is a guy that missed the majority of the season.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with an injury, and he's, like I said, he's limited offensively. He's known mostly for his defense.
Wow. The Wolves could trade up to 3 or 4. What do you think?
Possibly. That's what Clarence said?
Yeah.
Possibly. But Clarence, I ask you this: who do you want to see the Wolves take? Who do you want personally?
I'm pretty sure he's going to give us something on the chat right now because he's listening to us.
I'm interested to see who you want to see Minnesota pick, Clarence.
Because he says that y'all remember the NFL draft a few years ago with all the trading in the first round. You may see that in the NBA draft, and I'm
pretty sure that's going to happen because it's a weak class.
It's just nobody really stands out.
Yeah.
I just want to know. I wonder 2014 is going to be a little bit better because, of course, you got Jabari Parker and I think what other kid is out there too?
Kentucky has a blue chip.
Yeah, Mini.
Yeah,
Mini.
And I'm also interested in seeing where Seth Curry is going to go.
Oh yes, definitely. And it's just.
I think that honestly, he's one of the best all-around players to me coming out, and he's seasoned.
Right, but the problem is a lot of people. I think the one thing is his brother being, the Steph Curry being out there in the postseason is probably gonna help his stock. However, a lot of people with the seasoned guys and all this stuff, he's going to be either a second round pick or he's going to be undrafted.
Well, he's going to get drafted.
I hope he gets drafted.
He's going to get drafted.
I really do hope he gets drafted. And if somebody gets him, he's going to be a very good steal.
Yeah.
If the Spurs get him, oh my goodness.
Unlike Steph, he's not going to necessarily have to learn how to play point guard because Seth, he's a scorer, but he's a crafty scorer. I mean, he's not as skilled a shooter as his brother. But he's a true point guard in the sense, and he's a crafty scorer. So I think he's going to get drafted. Like you said, the Spurs would be a good fit. I can see Indiana taking him. You know, he's going to get drafted. But like you said, he's probably going to be a second rounder.
Why not take the chance? Clarence says Victor Oladipo. Good pick. I think that'll work. Let me see what position he plays again. I think that should work. Yeah, I think that would be a good fit. Anything.
I love that guy's game. I mean, Clarence, you really will get a steal if you guys moved up and got him because to me he was one of the most exciting players to watch during that season. I mean, I remember that dunk he had. God, who was it? I think it was the Michigan game. He had a Sports Center like dunk.
Right.
Just a good, crafty scorer, athletic.
And they need a shooting guard.
Yeah, they need one.
They definitely.
He's like a more athletic version of Eric Gordon, another guy that came out of Indiana.
Yeah. And I could just continue to remember about Oladipo, like the Kentucky game.
Yeah.
That Kentucky game from 2 years ago where he made that shot to end that perfect season for Kentucky. That one right there, I think that kind of put Indiana basketball in a way back. So, yeah, that's just one of those things too. So, is there anything else as far as news is concerned?
Horrible logo. So
Definitely, and it's just that I hope that they can get that same color scheme back, the teal, the purple, and all that different type of stuff. Because, man,
if the Wolves got a point guard in the draft, I don't know what to say. You guys must never want to win. Because, man, you guys have been through some point guards.
Oh, boy. Johnny Flynn.
Oh, man. Ooh.
At least you got Ricky Rubio.
Yeah. Sam Cassell ain't walking through that door.
Mm-mm.
So, I hope you guys in the Rubio era, I hope that stays loyal and true.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, definitely.
Because you guys got Minnesota has to make the playoffs next year for Kevin Love to be. If Kevin Love is healthy, they should make the playoffs with the team they have in place. With a guy like, especially if you add a guy like Victor, they should be able to make the playoffs. But if they don't make the playoffs, that Kevin Love leaving Minnesota countdown gets realistic.
It's kind of interesting.
Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock.
In Flip, we trust.
Flip is a good coach. Flip is a good coach, a good guy. But yeah, he got a job ahead of him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, granted, Minnesota's a good team. They have the pieces. They just need Kevin Love to stay healthy, Rubio to stay healthy, and just production.
Definitely so. Well, with that all said and done, we're pretty much gonna call it a wrap for today's show. Any idea what our next one's gonna be?
Ooh, Memorial Day would be a good day, but you got to work Memorial Day.
I don't have to work.
Oh, you don't?
Well, I do. I'm gonna work, but they told me that I can get off at 12.
Well, I'm off for that day, so we can do something there. I'm sure many of you will probably be enjoying barbecue or something. Oh man, maybe Tuesday then? I don't know.
It's either or. I'm pretty sure they could eat their barbecue and listen to us at the same time though too. I'm pretty sure they could do that.
We'll see.
But we shall see. It's either going to be Monday or Tuesday. One of those days, we're really going to have ourselves another show. I think it's going to be. We're going to have a game pretty much too. I think whichever one. I think it's Monday. It's going to be the Spurs game, and I think Tuesday is going to be Pacers Heat again. Oh wow, nice dunk. And by the way, one last game update I've been neglecting too. Indiana is up 65-60 with 8. I think with 8 or 6 minutes something. Time for me to get a new TV, by the way, too. A little shot at me. 65-60 Indiana, and they have like 6 minutes left to go in the third quarter. So we're pretty much going to see how the rest of that game is going to turn out to be. So, hey, we might have ourselves some more material for the next show that we're going to have. But, yes, this is Lamar Gafford.
I'm Robert Brown.
And we will, until next time, have a nice day. See you later. And once again, have a great Memorial Day if you do not hear from us until then.